I Am Justice is a thrilling murder mystery with lots of plot twists and cliffhangers. It kept me turning the page from start to finish, and it has a really satisfying ending. All of the questions that the novel raises are answered by the end, which is something I don't really get a lot in stories today. So I say it's really good, and you should check it out. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the plot. Probably not much more than it just says on the back of the novel, but if you like going into stories completely blind, just read it. See it for yourself. It moves quickly, the chapters are short, and you won't be able to put it down once it gets going. The story follows the main character Justice after she finds herself in a very scary predicament. She kills someone due to self-defense and flees the scene. But the next morning she finds out there are additional murders in the same location that she will be blamed for if she comes forward. So she has to cover her tracks, but also try to find out who the real murderer is. Also, while that's happening, the reader is slowly being fed some of Justice's mysterious background. She has a lot of skeletons in her closet that haunt her, and it affects who she is. This plays into the unfolding of the plot of the novel, and from beginning to end, Justice really undergoes a serious character arc, becoming the person that she really wants to be. When you tie in the things that she's going through now and start to understand where she came from, you're rooting for her, especially by the end of the novel. The other characters are interesting too. All of them seem to represent sort of a different viewpoint on what's going on. And what's going on seems to sort of be almost like a kind of a meta commentary on what's going on in our society as a whole. It felt a lot deeper than just a short page-turning thriller novel. It really sort of got me thinking sometimes. The characters talk about a lot of hot button issues that are going around today, things like Black Lives Matter and free speech. The way that the characters discuss these current culture topics is a little bit more grounded and bigger than just what's going on right now, and lets the reader sort of bounce these ideas around in their head. But primarily, it's a murder mystery, and that in that capacity, it delivers. I really didn't know where this was going, but everything really does make sense by the end in a really satisfying way. I did have one issue in reading the novel, and that was understanding what was happening in some of the more action scenes. Whenever someone was described as doing something, it went by very quickly in one sentence, and sometimes it would be a very significant act. I'm trying not to spoil the book, but imagine someone dies, and in the novel, it might just say, and so shot someone, and then they died. And there just wasn't a lot of reaction or description to that. It almost felt like it didn't happen. I didn't feel the weight of some of the more heavier things that happened in the novel that should have made you stop and pause and soak in what happens. Now, to be fair, it's a book, so all I have to do is stop reading and contemplate it. But it's something that I couldn't help but thinking, like, if this was a movie, everything would stop here and there would be dramatic music showing the expressions on people's faces. It is a quick novel, and I wouldn't want it to be much longer. So I don't know exactly how to solve that, but a sentence or two more describing maybe some reactions of people would have been a little bit more satisfying in some of those more action-oriented scenes. Probably what hit me the most was Justice's growth as a person. While the murder mystery was exciting and the plot unraveling was intriguing, I really like Justice, and by the end of the novel, I want to see more of her, and the book leaves it open enough to where she could continue and do more things. I would like to see Justice more. We spent this whole novel watching her get to this point, and then it kind of ends. And so I want to see her as this fully developed character that we have watched grow. One thing I want to share. This was a quote that I liked in the novel. A little bit over halfway through, as Justice is finally starting to reconcile who she is, part of her growth. I love this quote. I'm just going to share it with you. We sit in a movie theater looking down on the prisoner of war who gives up. Then we go home, driving past the gym and thinking, no, not today. I'll work out when I'm not so tired. It's so easy to be a hero in your head. But isn't that the whole trick? To will yourself forward even when you're too tired, to find the energy even when it's not there. People waste their lives waiting until they feel like working out, feel like taking action, feel like telling the truth. But they've got it backwards. You don't feel, then act. You act, then feel. You move forward not because your emotions make you, but because your mind decides. I really like that line. And Justice is surrounded by people who can decide which direction her life goes. And part of her character arc is learning that she can decide how her life goes. I like that. I really like Justice. I like I Am Justice. I want to see another one. Thank you, D.P. Watkins, for the wonderful experience of I Am Justice. Go out and get the book right now. The Amazon link is in the description.